Welcome back to my third class of Microsoft Azure Machine Learning Studio. This third class will not just last time I little bit I just made some mistakes, so we just wanted fourth class. Sorry, third class. Yeah, that's good. Sorry. So wanted to make sure we are in the same loop so that you don't want to miss. So here in this, now it's that if you got familiar with this interface, so we just those two classes was for familiarization for your user interface. Now it becomes a little complex here. Let's see here. Okay, so first thing, we created a project. We have this project Udemy. Okay, just don't worry about it. It's empty right now. Everything is empty at this point of time because we have done nothing right now. Alright, so let's go to this section experiment. Notebook probably I will not be touching at all. Let's see, I'll give it as introduction at the last class because no code, I'm not touching code, but that requires code a little bit. So but we'll look into it actually if I have time. So I mean, I have time, but we'll just see that if it works, because I have not to be honest, I didn't practice that much, so that's the reason. So experiments, let's go to the experiments. So that's what we are working on. That's what there you will be creating an algorithm. Let's see here what we can do here. Let's go ahead and click on new. We'll go to tutorial first thing. Okay, first we'll just try to understand this tutorial. Not that it is freely available, but from what we have learned from this tutorial. So here this tutorial shows then an experiment in 5 short steps. So here it says, let's build a machine learning experiment to predict income level based on demographic information. Okay, that's great. So we will predict an income level based on demographic information. So let's get started. So saying that new okay, it's creating by itself. We have not. So here, if you see, this is a flow chart. If you see this, it has done automatically for you. I have not done anything. So yeah, I wanted to explain these data sets actually, but since we have time. Okay, so step 1, add data set from example. This sample contains census and income. So what? And this will do it for you. So I'm not doing anything. Just let system do it for you. So this is what we can do. We visualize it and see this. This is good. I mean, this should be good for you actually, for understanding actually. So in this, what we have learned is what we can. So it's all about data. It's all about data. So we are predicting here. You see this income prediction. We are doing an income prediction here, and this is the data, which is not, it's kind of database, but we are not looking into the database technically. We are just using this as a UI point of view. So now it's saying that we have just dragged and dropped a data for income prediction. So what we are doing is we are predicting income. Okay, so this income is there. So let's split randomly the data set into training for 70% and test set for 30%. Now we are predicting for the 70% of data, how much 70% would look like, and the test set for other 30%. Okay, let's show it. How does it do? So we are using split data. Okay, and it's 70%. That's good. It's also using a random seed as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, that's good. Now it's showing an select and machine learning algorithm. So here is where this algorithm starts from. You have the data, right? You have the data from adult census income binary. Okay, you have the data. What we are doing is income prediction. Now what you have done is you split the data into 2 parts. One is 70%, the other 2 is 30%. That's good. Now you have to use a machine learning algorithm. Let's see this. How does it looks like? Let's use a 2-class boosted decision tree algorithm and train it with the training data sets. Let's find out. Now this is okay. It's trying to I have not used this one. So this is using two class boosted edition with the split data and using the train model. Okay, you have to specify this column. Which column do you want? Income. So yeah, that's what I thought. So because this is income prediction, it's pretty simple, right? This was simple, very simple thing actually. So you are actually predicting income with this is the data which you visualized already. So of course I understand you don't get it at the first attempt, so that's the reason we will attempt it more than once. So make predictions. So let's use, we are using two class boosted decision. What does that mean? That's a really good question. So here there is that's a model, that's that's the algorithm, inbuilt algorithm. Actually you can manipulate it as per your requirement, but that's inbuilt algorithm. So predict, let's use a trained model to predict on the test data set. So we have this test data set, right? Let's use core model. Of course I'll be using that too. And then evaluate. This evaluate shows you the graph actually, right? That's good. Now we gotta run this experiment. This was very simple. I mean, this is you can run it, but we will so this is a tutorial, so we will just I don't wanted to skip this one because I wanted to show you how does it work. And okay, we successfully ran this and we visualize it. Let's see what happens. So this predicted income with scored levels and probabilities, and you want to see this evaluation model too, so let's visualize that too. Let's see what it has. So this is how this graph shows up, and it shows, oh, this is really good numbers, but to be honest, you don't see much of what did we do. To be honest, we just predicted this for machine learning. We didn't do this anything for this. So this is for machine learning to predict the data. That means 70% of data, I'm sorry, 70 or 75? 75% of data we try to predict it, and less 30% is to train the data, right? To train it and to see how does it look like. Okay, so that's pretty much, that's it. This was very simple one, and it was very easy, and everything was done by this system. We've done nothing. Okay, let's now do this web services. We deploy this, we'll create this. This automatically does this web services for you, and this predicts, and that's it. This prediction experiment was created and shows that the train model is created for you. Web service model indicates the data flow of application program interface you about to generate. Okay, I'll tell you, show me how. So that's web service input, and infer the web service input schema, and put the schema exploding income label. Okay, great. So we do that. So here actually they are trying to do this a little extra step. Probably this is a little bit complex, but we'll see here. We will go through this one actually. So here you are using income, of course, because you are predicting data just from the income. So you have successfully created a predictive experiments in the web services. So now you'll help the system to infer web service output schema by not only including the score table and of score probabilities. After that, we'll run this predictive experiments. Okay, that's great. Show me how. Oops, this mini map is actually making it probably to the code levels. This actually is supposed to have this columns. Oh, it's no columns. Okay, that's good. This has no columns, but once you run that, now this goes to run. It takes some time, not lot, but it takes some time, and once it runs, and you will see, oh, that's finished running. And now this predictive experiment, this income what we predicted, is ready to deploy as a web service. That's great. Show me how. Oh, then that's a simple click. Just click on deploy in web services and it gets added into it. So oh yeah, so this is what you get it. You know, let's test it. Okay, and click on OK. Testing predictive. Now congratulations, you did it. Now I didn't do anything. Everything was done by the system. So we have created an API, this application program interface, to predict income level based on demographic information. You can hook it up to your mobile desktop now. Yeah, so you can use this. This key is generated. Now with this key you can close this. So here you can download this one. Okay, and this is you can use as a third party for for this one, and you can configure here, and there's a lot of information here, so we don't want to mess up at this point of time. So now what you have, this is, now if you go here, this is still empty because we didn't add it. Experiments, if you see this, there's two, it got a two, I don't know why it got add two. One is the for web services, the other is for experiment. So that's the reason it got saved into two. Okay, so that was just an example for you to show you how income. But in the next class we'll be showing a real-time example, and I will be running that and we will be testing that one, because we want to know a little bit mathematical operations too. Actually, I wanted to show you those options. Actually, this showed nothing for you. Actually, this was very simple, and you can go to the experiments and view this. I close this mini map, minimize it. Okay, let's look into this pretty quick. This is not a code, this is a flow chart, right? And this was pretty easy. Now let's look into it. Oh yeah, here you have this option. So let me show you. So now this allows me a lot of option to explain you a lot of things here. Okay, I'm not going to explain a lot of things. Okay, here let's see what we have done. It was just a flow of wind, right? Don't know what happened. So what we actually did was, there was a data here. Let's view the data. So there was a data of adult census income binary classification, where you have this age and there's a lot of data here. Okay, there's a lot of information here. This is supposed to be there in the database. This is a similar thing what you did. So we predicted this income actually. Okay, so this income is the last one, right? We predicted how the income will be. So what we did is, first thing is we split the data. Let's click on this. Split the data into 70%. That means this will be 70%, this will be 30%, I'm assuming. And then this random seed is kind of randomly they have added. There's no information on this. What is this? So here, we have this output log. Let's see this output log. So we've got, oh wow, this log has nothing. So supposed to show up here, but okay, never mind. So here you have this. I hope let's visualize it. So this has 70% of the data, and this has probably this will have 70% of this, and 15 columns, and that's fine. So we have split. So at the end of the day, you have to split the data, right? You have to split the data and train that data, train that model. Okay, model into income. So here, so that's the here the see here income. You can train. I think you can train one column at a time. One column at a time. I've tried for multiple columns, didn't work, but probably you might try it for another. Probably you want to use another flow chart, and it becomes complex. So So here, what kind of algorithm we use? So here, this is the algorithm. So this is the maze. So here is it's a binary classifier using a boosted decision tree algorithm. Okay, this is an algorithm. This is an algorithm, and using this algorithm, you're training a model. You're training a model, and you're actually getting training to that model and feeding this 70% of data and developing a scorecard. Let's visualize this data. Here what you're actually here it shows what happened when you train that model using that what was that, two class boosted decision tree. What you have done is you have trained it through the income, right? You just put an income, and this probability got generated, a new column got generated. See this? And the probability got generated. So the income, based on this income, and the scored labels, based on this scored labels, the probability got generated. How does it do? So there's no data here because there's some data loss, but we will take care of this in the next class actually. So what it did was it actually built on that algorithm. Let's find out. Let's see what it does. So you can specify this, how many trees you need. So it's kind of tree, right? Tree, and how many instances you want. So based on what is the learning rate, so how do you want the machine to learn, right? So 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. I'm not sure it goes 100%, 1000%. I'm sure how long it goes, because this is still in the new stage. So probably it might, if you go high, it's probably not so good. You'll not get a good data. I'm not good numbers. Okay. And the number of trees constructed is 100. We didn't put any seeds here. So this is the algorithm. Two boosted decision trees, an algorithm where you train the model using this constraints parameter. Actually, these are the parameters in the two class boosted decision tree, and you train the model and you generated a graph. Let's see here. So this was actually and based on that, we generated this graph on the false pass-through rate on the x-axis and true pass-through rate on the y-axis. Here we generated income prediction. So what we understand by this, of course, to be honest, yeah, it's not easy to what we are trying to do here. That's a good thing. I'm sorry, actually that's not a good thing. We have these three options actually. ROC is okay. We have precision. Recall how the precision the system is, and when you do this, it's a recall and the precision on the y-axis and the lift. Okay, and this is how it gets. And okay, here are the numbers. So this is the threshold, and we used accuracy, and it used an accuracy of 0.865 and the precision of 0.75. So what it did was it predicted probably, I would imagine it predicted the future income based on that data. I would assume at least that it has predicted the future income based on what data you have. It's a lot of prediction, right? So we are doing prediction. So most probably it has predicted the future income based on that model, based on that algorithm. It's two boosted. Remember based on this. You can use there's a lot of algorithms here. We'll go through that in a moment. But based on this data got generated. And this data, what happens is this data is not useful for you, but it's for the machine, because it's machine learning, right? For the machine to predict the future data. Okay, so this is for the machine actually, not for you. So you don't do anything with this data. but this data actually, this is the real data. We know this data, right? Let's see here. We know age, work class, education numbers, marital status, occupation. We know all this, right? So this is a normal our personal information that is stored. But based on that personal information, we have predicted the future income, right? Based on this algorithms. Okay, so that's pretty much, and we deployed it into predictive experiment. Let's see. That's how we did it in this web services, and that tutorial actually added a new data set, and that web services output showed up. So this is more for, it's good for a machine to how this feed the data into this machine, and that machine uses this model, and based on that model it predicts the data. So that's about. But the whole point of this Microsoft Azure Machine Learning Studio is to come up with new algorithms to predict a new types, a new columns. You have this income, not just income, this price. If you are in automobiles, we will do this for automobiles. Actually, this was for this. We'll go to the automobiles, and we'll do that manually. Actually, this was done tutorial. This was kind of tutorial kind of thing. So we'll go back to this training experiment and see here. So let's go to here, machine learning. All right. So here you have a lot of options. Can we track this here? Okay, good. So this is algorithms. Multi-class decision forest, multi-class decision jungle. These are the algorithms. Okay. So I'm sorry. This models, we have this anomaly detection, classification, clustering, and regression. So we'll talk about this regression. We'll go through this linear regression, okay, and this anomaly is for a different kind, of things, and classification. I think this is just classified, right? Two class boosted. Yeah, it uses classification method. How do you classify the income kind of thing? Okay. And clustering, you can use clustering where is only one. K means clustering. And then you have regression. So what are these? These are the various types of methods in algorithms. Okay. We'll do one more, linear regression, and we'll see how this thing works. Okay. Neural network regression. Let's say you have neural network and you want to train that one. You can use that too. So we'll work on regression thing. And score, that's not machine learning actually. It's part of machine learning. So here this score model is to see how this it's basically to what we did in the score model. Let's visualize. Score model is to predict the data, what happened when we did this probability. It generated this probability labels, scored labels and scored probabilities generated. That's good. So that's what this score is all about. You can use these options here, various options. Train, of course, right? There's supervised training and unsupervised training. So I'm not sure this is there or there here, but we use most of the time use train model. Or you can do your own experiments. There's plenty of things to do here actually. It's a lot more than what I actually did. So you can do train anomaly detection model. I'll work on train model. So this we'll be working on train model, which is already created, which is already created, which we already have the data. We are training that data. We are training it based on that data. 70%, 0.7. Right. So that's about training. Now we have evaluate. This never showed up the evaluate. Evaluate is to get the graphs. Okay, so here you go. Evaluate. You can cross evaluate. You can value recommended. So these are the various options for your machine learning. Then you want to code. If you want to code, you have this Python language, R language, statistical functions. Oh, these are very important. This is what I wanted to talk about. Let's talk about this for now. Okay, although it's too early to talk about this, but I want to, we want to finish this actually. So here what you can do is you can apply mathematical operation. Let's say your score model, let's visualize this. Once you have predicted this, it has generated some values, right? 0.038015. You don't want these numbers, not big numbers, small numbers, let's say 3 digits, 0.038. So you want to round off. So in that case you want to use this mathematical math operation. Not just math operation, you can use divide, multiplication, subtraction, addition, all those things. So that's math, statistical functions. You want to summarize it, you can use discrete, you can use a lot more what actually it is. Okay, that is statistical functions. Then you have text analysis. If you have any model which does this text analysis, this is much more complex actually. You use, I'm not sure if you have this in a sample, but you use, if you have this, but this becomes more complex. We'll use more complex than this one. We'll see how we can use in another class. The next class we will see that. But we'll obviously will not be using this text analysis, because text analysis, if you have data which is in the text and you want to analyze that based on this model, so you can also do that. Then you have time series with anomaly detection, web services, input and output. We have just done this, web services, and decrypt. You want to assign to clusters and then all those things you get. So these are the options for machine learning. And actually you have lot of options here. So now this train model showed up. Okay, and you have various samples. I'll be using one of them samples for you to understand. Automobile transformations, data format conversions. You can convert the data, convert to CSV, convert to data sets. If you have data set you want to convert to CSV, you can use that. We'll not be using that in this class, but just good to know. When you can use this export data transformation. Oh yeah, this is very important. So if you have done ETL work, this will be this is what we'll be using it actually more. You can filter a data. You can, let's say you want some data. Let's visualize this again. Let's say you want to filter a data. Let's say you want income based on let's say not sure, like education. Let's say you want bachelor's and master's data, so you can filter it. So only the data which is in master's and doctorate and bachelor's will show up, and the rest of data you can remove it. So that you can use the filter. So you have FIR filter, IIR filter, okay, median filter and average filter. So these are the various filters you can apply for this. I've just given an example. You don't have to be that way. There's a lot more than thing you can do this. You can do transformations, so these are the transformations of data, how you can transform the data in machine learning, right? Then you can count, you can modify the table parameters, and one of the sample also have this, you can also edit the metadata too. So I wanted to show you that one, that was very important, but unfortunately that was thing too long. That's why I'll skip that one, because I'll give it as a homework. Take it as a homework. You have this data, and I'll show you actually, but that won't run because it takes too much time. Probably you want to use this and forget about it after probably 1 or 2 hours. You want to see that it's ran successfully or not. This takes too much time. And then your split data, that's what we did, split data. And scale and reduce, you can scale it. Okay, so these are the various options you can perform. So you have this in machine learning, you just not just do machine learning, but also transformation of the data is also important. So in that case you use that too. So I hope that gives some information about this way. So I wanted to explain this one before, so that you have some time, but we did this in tutorial. Okay, so we'll stop here at this, and we'll continue in the next class. This was for income prediction. We'll do for automobile price prediction. That will not be this tutorial. We'll do it, probably I'll be looking this tutorial and showing it how, and we'll do it manually. Okay, so we'll do it manually, and we'll actually go to this section and create a new experiment. Here you have this two experiments, right? We'll create a new experiment, and from here using blank, and we will create an automobile price prediction and see how that works. So I'll be using more flow chart, or what is there here, but that will give you some information about how to predict. We have predicted the income, right? We've seen the graph. We'll predict price and also see the graph too, and we'll see how that thing works out. I hope I don't make mistake, because that's little more complex than this. This was very simple, because it was inbuilt by Microsoft Azure Machine Studio, and it showed for you, but that is manually I will be doing it. So I hope we don't make any mistakes. Okay, so that's pretty much for this tutorial. This was for income prediction. This tutorial, it was a tutorial from automated tutorial actually. That was machine learning. So machine learning already told you how to learn it. So okay, so that's that's pretty much, and thanks for watching. I hope you like this class, and I'll see you in the next class. Thanks for watching.